Yes, the main event, the Consumer Price Index for the month of August. Headline expected up an aggressive 0.6, and The Economist and analysts delivered up 0.6, up 0.6. The last time we had up 0.6 on a month over month was going way back. You have to go all the way back to February of 2022 to find a bigger number. When it was up 0.7, actually in March it was up as well. So now if we consider that the high water mark here in 2005 was up 1.2, yes, we've made progress, but this follows up 0.2%. Strip out food and energy, up 0.3%. Year over year, up 3.7%. That is hotter than expected, hotter than the rearview mirror, and 3.7, the last time we were anywhere near there was up 4% in May.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. Are they actually going to have any kind of White House press avail today? Anything from KJP? Because there wasn't anything yesterday. And yesterday there wasn't, according to Jackie Heinrich, not anything scheduled for this week. Welcome back to the program, because I think they'd like to ask questions about that. Dana Loesch here with you, top of the second hour. And you can listen coast to coast. You can stream the radio program, and you can watch the simulcast. YouTube, Facebook, Channel 347 on Direct TV. So the economy, we were told, the way that Democrats, the way that the administration has put it out there is that it's actually we're doing really well. It's it's good. Maybe a little hotter than expected. Oh no, it's bad. And by the way, the big driver to this actually is the gas index. That was the largest contributor to the spike in August. It was over 10% month over month. And then cost for shelter increased for the 40th straight month in a row. Now, CPI, the core CPI, that excludes the energy and food. That showed also, it rose 0.3%. Last month, it was 0.2% increase. So the annual rate is 4.3%. So the consumer inflation under Joe Biden has skyrocketed. And that's the Consumer Price Index, CPI. So that's how much everybody's been paying. So there is this idea that everything is in your rear view mirror is a lie. And that's kind of that's ultimately what they've been arguing out there, and his surrogates have been arguing. They've been trying to make a focus on Bidenomics. I have no idea why. That's like one of his every area is his worst area. Does he have a strong area, Kane? That's probably the better question to ask. No. I don't think so. Just look at these numbers. Over the past year alone, food at home, over 4%. Food away from home, 6.5%. Food at employee sites and schools, 57.5%. The cost of tools and hardware and supplies, almost 6%. Housekeeping supplies, that increased 5%. Outdoor equipment, 9%. And 17% for any kind of motor vehicle repair. Apparel's 3% more expensive than it was a year ago. New vehicle prices are up by 3%. Almost 8% non-prescription drug increases. Almost 9% pet food. I mean, we could sit here and go on and on. There's not a single area of consumer activity where you have seen any kind of price decreases or any kind of relief for the average American. And then listen to this. This is how they're spinning this. This is the top spokesperson on the economy for the president. And I want you to listen to what they're saying, what he's saying on this. Listen to how he's trying to spin this.
The president has a lot to be proud of and a lot to run on. He's delivered some of the most consequential achievements and economic progress in generations with the Inflation Reduction Act, the infrastructure bill, the CHIPS bill, which is opening new factories and creating new manufacturing jobs around the country. That's what he's going to be talking.
How is the CHIPS bill, which is opening? It's not doing jack squat, by the way. And all the cost of materials and everything else is going to be so much more expensive. I mean, everything. People are paying so much more than they have been. The cost of, like, for instance, cable, satellite, streaming services. 6.3% increase over the past 12 months. Sporting event admission over 7%. I mean, it's the August Consumer Price Index rose by 3.7% over the past year. Core CPI by 4.3%. I mean, clearly, inflation is not down. Clearly. I mean, it's people can see that they are not, it's the hidden tax of spending more money on basic everyday items. And they see this. I mean, you can see it going to the grocery store. You can see it, just like, for instance, I buy the ingredients for like pasta sauces and stuff, like the canned Italian tomatoes and all this other, and some of the, oh my gosh, herbs. Like if you're getting fresh rosemary, the heat killed my rosemary this year. So until I'm trying to get something else going, I had to go and get some rosemary. Oh my gosh, like everything is so much more expensive. And if you're one of those people that kind of, keep track of everything, which is every American, you have to at this point. I don't think anybody's out of that. Then you see it for yourself. I don't know how you're telling people that the economy is better and that inflation's gone away. It hasn't. I mean, it's just, why would you lie to people? That guy, that's Ian Sams. I mean, prices have gone up. Real wages have fallen under Biden. They said, 60 some odd % of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. You know what I told you yesterday? The SOFA measure, which I thought this was wild. The housing market is just being hit so hard. They said that one of the most reliable ways to measure a healthy housing market is SOFA sales. That makes sense. You get a new house, build a new house, you move, you need to get a new sofa. And they're down by like almost 40%. That's crazy. That's crazy. People are broke and they vote their wallets. I feel like Democrats forgot that. They have been so, I get that Democrats have been focused on like Trump and J6 and all this other stuff. Nobody cares when it comes to their wallet. Literally nobody cares. They want to save money. They want to be able to afford basic things. They don't want to go broke having to pay the hidden tax of inflation. And gas prices, let me go back to that real quick. We had this headline about just over the last week. It was last week. You had Saudi Arabia extending the decrease in barrels released. You had the President of the United States. They announced last week that they're suspending all leases, any leasing for any kind of oil and gas in Alaska, up there in the Arctic. They're suspending those leases. Nothing being done on nothing at all being in any which way done for oil refinery. You know the headline we had about the big lithium mine in Nevada, which we have known about it for a while. I wanted to come back to that too in context with all of this, because we have known about the lithium mine for a while. Isn't that one of the reasons that Musk was looking at that spot out there for one of his facilities, because of the the trillion plus dollar supply of lithium that's in a reservoir there? And there's others too. I mean, that's not the only one in the United States. But I was reading a conversation, and it was a rando that works in the energy sector, and they were saying they're talking about they wanted to share these thoughts on social media. They didn't. I appreciate that they did it. I understand why they didn't use their name in that, because they don't want to be found out in their workplace. But they were talking about the lithium, and they were saying, look, the lithium mining project in Western Nevada, you have environmentalists that oppose it. You have indigenous tribes that oppose it. The Ninth Circuit was saying, no, the project can move forward. There's the same mining project in that area that hasn't been doing very well. You have a Canadian group involved. You have a couple of other groups involved. The Bureau of Land Management, the original BLM involved. But here's the other thing, though. So, and pulling the plug on authorization for that, remember, this was back in July 22nd, 2023. That's when Bureau of Land Management told the Canadian Mining Company that they were going to pull authorization for their lithium exploration. That was for one of those projects out there. Where is all that? Where's lithium refined? You guys know? Most of it's done in China. In fact, they dominate it. They absolutely dominate it. They actually just opened a huge, another one. This was July 5th. They opened a huge lithium processing plant, or I should say processed. They opened a huge plant in Zimbabwe. That's part of a Belt and Road thing. And then, of course, they get rights to the rare earth elements, of which lithium is one. They opened a $300 million lithium processing plant back in July in Zimbabwe, which has one of the world's largest reserves of lithium. I believe that ours, I think what I'd read that is the one that we have, the big one in Nevada, is actually larger than this. But all of our red tape and everything else, we're not going to. It's almost like this administration and party in control want us to be reliant upon China, because they say that they want all of these green energy and they want this exploration, but then they allow it to be fought every step of the way. And they do absolutely nothing to make us self-sufficient. Battery manufacturing. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. Do we even have the ability to manufacture those types of batteries? We don't have the processing ability. China they dominate it. We would have to mine it and then send it to China for processing. How in the hell does that decouple us from China? That's the thing. We can't stop using Chinese lithium, and we can't not have them process our lithium, even if we were to extract it ourselves. And they're just buying up all of the rare earth element mineral rights everywhere else. Financial Times had a huge piece. They already won the cobalt war. Now they're winning the race for Africa's lithium. They control, earlier this year, it was 70% of global lithium production. I think it's gone up even from that. My point in bringing this up is that gas prices are driving a huge driver of this gas index. The way that the administration puts it, they're like, well, if we move everything over to Green New Deal, we move everything over to EV, it's going to be so much better. With everything that I just laid out for you, how in the hell do you think that's going to happen? That's the point. It's not. It's a lie, and they know it.